Here are 10 common beginner video editing mistakes that I've learned after more than a decade of making videos. You can start implementing these tips today to make better videos, but also to make yourself a more efficient editor. Cutting from one clip to another during the action generally looks a lot more natural than cutting before or after the action. Look at this example. Cutting after I open the door to me walking through the door doesn't work as well as when I cut as the handle is fully pressed down on the first clip to the second shot where the handle is also fully pressed down. This makes for a much more pleasing cut between clips. Transitions can make edits look more dynamic, but using too many or using the wrong transitions in the wrong places can look amateurish. However, if breaking the rules is for a good reason, like if not cutting on the action will help to tell your video's story, or if using a ton of transitions in your music video helps to create that sense of chaos that you're going for, then by all means, do that. If you're not already using shortcuts and you only take away one thing from this video, let it be this. I'm obsessed with Final Cut Pro shortcuts. They speed up the editing process, reduce repetitive manual tasks, boost creativity, and increase my productivity and income because I can do more in a day. My 100 FCP shortcuts video and downloadable PDF will show you how much I rely on them. Learning everything that your software is capable of allows you to do things in post that you might not even realize is possible. I've had so many comments on videos where people say, I didn't even know Final Cut Pro could do that. Things like cleaning up your voice using voice isolation, using Final Cut Pro's built-in tracker, double-clicking on a cut to open the precision editor, and keyframing different parameters. Knowing how to use your software like a pro will help you to move from a beginner editor to a pro editor. When I started working as an editor in a production company in 2011, I was surrounded by incredibly talented and creative people. And whenever I wasn't working on client projects, I was learning from these people. This fostered a need to constantly learn, and I think all beginner editors need to do the same. Now, I realize you might not be in a production company surrounded by other editors, but here are 5 ways that you can constantly upskill yourself. Number 1, YouTube. There are loads of great creators on YouTube, and if you're looking for Final Cut Pro tutorials specifically, look no further than the likes of Dylan John, Dylan Bates, Matthew O'Brien, Raphael Ludwig, Serge M, Brian Francisco, Ryan Nangle, Jen Jager, and the list goes on and on. Number 2, Final Cut Pro documentation. Apple's very own Final Cut Pro user guide covers every section and feature in Final Cut Pro. Use the online version or access it directly in FCP in the help menu and search for whatever you want to learn. Number 3, people or mentors. Find and connect with other editors on Facebook groups and talk about editing. Ask questions, share your work, and get feedback. Number 4, forums. Forums are a great place to go to if you're trying to solve a problem. I'd suggest checking out creativecow.net, browse the forums to learn some new techniques, or post your own questions if you get stuck on something. Number 5, online courses. All of the resources I've mentioned so far are free, and online courses are often not, but they can be affordable, especially if you use Skillshare. The benefit of doing a paid online course is that they are generally well structured, meaning they take you through what you want to learn from A to Z. On YouTube, you might have to search for a few videos around a specific topic, skipping some along the way to feel like you've learned everything you need to know. But a course will likely cover everything in bite-sized chapters. There are loads of Final Cut Pro courses on Skillshare, including my own course that is specifically designed for beginners and people moving to Final Cut Pro from another editing app. You can get 1 month of Skillshare free using the link down below, and that will give you unlimited access to all of the Final Cut Pro courses, but also all of the other courses they have on filmmaking, motion graphics, creative marketing, and so much more. I've really been enjoying the Getting Started in Apple Motion 5 course by James Rickards as I try to develop a better understanding of motion's power. While online courses are not free, Skillshare makes them fun and affordable. Having a well-organized file structure and project file can make editing so much easier. Make sure you set up a good folder structure for all of the assets on your hard drive. Organize your footage and audio using events, keywords, smart collections, and roles, and this will help you during editing and when it comes time to back everything up. If you want to see a more detailed video on how I organize my file structure and my library, let me know in the comments down below. A video is 50% audio and 50% visual, and therefore you should spend as much time making your audio sound good as you do making your visuals look good. Make sure you use a good microphone if you're recording your voice. Be sure to remove noise and clean it up with an EQ if needed. Many beginners forget to use sound effects in their videos, and by using sound effects and music and mixing it correctly, you can really bring your video together. This is a common mistake that beginners can avoid by just paying the audio the attention it deserves. Footage shot in different locations or different times of the day can have vastly different white balances and color tones. Take time to color correct and balance your footage so that all your shots look consistent when edited together. It's tempting to just slap a LUT across all your footage, and LUTs can be great, but use them properly. First, color balance your footage and then apply a grade or a LUT if you wish. Before exporting a video, it's important to review it multiple times to make sure there are no issues. Even more importantly, watch it again after exporting, preferably on a different device to what you edited on. Export errors do happen, and by watching it again, you'll pick up any errors before uploading your video or sending it to a client. Watching your edits on a different device will also help you to tell if your grade works well and if your audio mix translates properly from headphones to TV speakers. This one is specifically for people who are struggling with Final Cut Pro's magnetic timeline. If you've transitioned to Final Cut Pro from another editing app, you might notice how different clips are connected together, and when you move or delete them, you end up deleting things that you don't want to delete. This is Final Cut Pro's magnetic timeline at work, and it can be super frustrating if you don't know what's going on. But it's also one of Final Cut Pro's greatest features. I moved from Final Cut Pro 7 to Final Cut Pro X, as it was called when it first came out, and I hated it. So much so that I stayed on Final Cut Pro 7 for another 2 years. In that time, I tried Premiere Pro and I hated that even more. I ended up making the switch to Final Cut Pro X, and it took me a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months to get used to it. But I stuck with it, and I think you should too if you're new to Final Cut Pro. Once you get the hang of it, there's no going back. I hope you found the lessons that I've learned over the years helpful, and hopefully there's at least one of these tips that you can start implementing today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you'd like to see any specific tutorials on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.